Hey everybody, it's Jeffrey Lyles. You're listening to Lyles Movie Files. We're talking Black Panther tonight. We're breaking down if Killmonger was right, if he was a bad guy, how excited we are about Avengers Infinity War, and if we think it's going to be nearly as good as Black Panther. We're also taking a look at Captain Marvel and see if maybe Marvel will adopt the same kind of strategy and promotion they used for Black Panther and what that can mean going forward. We're also going to break down that hot mess that was Fergie's performance at the NBA All-Star Game. And we're going to talk Olympics because this is the last week I have been obsessed, staying up super late, watching sports I will not watch until the next 4 years, but I am highly addicted to everything that's on the screen right now. Last night I was watching the U.S. hockey women's team defeat Canada in a really great game. I love hockey when it has real consequences. So this was everything I wanted, and I was so happy that the women won this time. So that's it on this end. I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about another giveaway and some other things that you may be interested in. Hope you enjoy the show. All right, well, this is the aftermath episode. Black Panther has destroyed the box office. We're excited. We've got a lot to talk about. So let's just jump right into it. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lyles. This is Lyles Movie Files, and I've got 3 of the 4 guys with me. Chief is away. He's actually off watching Black Panther for the second time, and he is probably one of the few of us. Well, I guess by this point, all of us, besides Javon, have seen it multiple times. I've seen it 3 times, and we're all set to talk about it. So, what's up, Jace?
I'm doing good, bro.
Good. Gunnar, how are you, man?
Doing great.
Javon, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
So let's just jump right into it. Black Panther clawed, scratched, eviscerated all kinds of box office predictions. It just went nuts. Originally, it was going to be $120 million, which was still going to be really awesome for a Marvel Studios film that didn't have Iron Man, that didn't have Captain America, that didn't have the other Avengers in it. Black Panther was like, yeah, that's cool and all, but I think I'm going to make a whole lot more money. So every day up to the release, the expectations and the predictions for the box office started to go up a little bit more each day. And they were still way off. So Black Panther ended the 3-day weekend with what was it? It was $205 million, I believe. And then the next day, Monday, which was the other big super day because of the President's Day weekend haul, it added another $33 million, which gave Black Panther a whopping $235 million 4-day weekend opening debut. So if you're keeping track of home, that means Black Panther in four days. Make sure you got that point because it's important. In 4 days, Black Panther made more money than Justice League its entire 96-98 day run. Javon, we kind of scoffed and thought you were way off base last week when you said Black Panther is going to make $225 million. So here is your opportunity to brag and to receive all your accolades for pretty much accurately predicting this. You were the closest to get it without going over. So take your victory lap. What do you think about this? Even though you're the one person that hasn't seen this film yet. Go ahead. What do you think, man?
Honestly, I really thought that that's what the final tally was going to be for the weekend because, number one, it's a 4-day weekend. Number 2, this was, in our lifetimes, I'm trying to, like this past week, I was trying to think of movies that have had this kind of buzz. And we're not just talking about black community. I'm talking about everyone. Where it was like, oh, my God, you got to see this movie. Or, oh, my God, I'm going to go see Black Panther. I can only equate it to, like, Batman in 1989, right? Those of you who remember Batman 89, that was a phenomenon. And Terminator 2, those in Jurassic Park. Those were the 3 movies in my lifetime. Titanic. Let me not forget one more Avatar, and that's it. Let's keep going.
Ooh, yeah.
Those were the movies that were just, they blew the doors off, and they were must-see events. They were must-see movies. This had all the makings of it because of the buzz, the long holiday weekend, And I just knew it was something special brewing, man. I knew that this movie was going to break records. And honestly, there was nothing else to compete with it. And I don't think there's nothing else for the next few weeks until maybe Tomb Raider that can compete. Not even that Natalie Portman turd that's going to come out next week. I don't see nothing competing with it. So by the time we reach March, yeah.
Yeah, so I decided, because, I like to keep up with these box office numbers, on my site, LylesMovieFiles.com, cha-ching. I wanted to see how this compared to some other super major blockbusters. And it started off with Deadpool, because Deadpool was the last film to have a major February President's Day weekend. And that really did a great job. It had 152 over the 4-day weekend. So Deadpool had a 47 million Friday, 42 million Saturday and Sunday, and then it had a $19 million Monday. Black Panther just exceeded and blew away all that. Even on Sunday, its numbers were still astronomical. It had a 60.2, if I'm remembering this correctly. I'm going to pull up the numbers because I don't want to say this incorrectly. There's no need to exaggerate with this one. Black Panther had $60.1 million on Sunday. That's important because the only film that's gotten $60 million on a Sunday, its opening weekend, was Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, if the final numbers come together, Black Panther may actually have the highest Sunday numbers of its opening weekend, which is huge. Anytime a movie's in the same conversation with a Star Wars film, that's major. So this is crazy. We're not really seeing a lot of things like this. So I decided to go back even further. I wanted to look at The Dark Knight, because I think that was one of those films that, Javon, you mentioned was kind of a big capstone. Everybody wanted to see it, in large part because of Heath Ledger's performance as a Joker, and this was the last time we were going to see him on screen, so I think that had a lot of buzz. That one had a 67 million Friday, 47 million Saturday, 43 million Sunday, and a 24 million Monday. Black Panther's going past all of these numbers. So this is already looking like it is going to be one of the highest grossing films on the domestic charts of all time. Let's break it down, because I know, Jay Scunner, you've seen it. I'm not going to go too long, because if you want to read my thoughts, and I'm writing several Black Panther articles and posts a day, it seems. Gunner, what did you think about this movie?
I said it on the last one. I'll say it again. Even watching it one more time, I'm like, oh, there's one little piece I missed, maybe two. But I was like, oh, that puts it all together. So I don't know if we're doing spoiler-free.
You can go spoiler this time.
The intro monologue of, where do we come from, and it starts describing Wakanda. Right. On the second run, I thought and maybe realized, I don't know if I'm right. I haven't researched for real because I'm still in the hype, right? Mm-hmm. But I thought that was Sterling K. Talking to Killmonger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like you. I didn't notice that the first time. Of course, why would you think anything? But once you watch it that second time, it's like, oh, shoot. This is the whole point of the movie. This whole conversation between father and son that's driving the whole thing. And it's like, oh, man. And it's that, whoa, mind-blowing explosion moment, because it's like, oh, shoot. Now that I know it's going to happen, it's even crazier in hindsight hearing that conversation. But yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly. And I'm sitting here checking my bottom lip for tattoos and whatnot, glowing blue tattoos and whatnot too. I'm like, let me find out. Hold on. Okay. All right. Oh well. But this joint exceeded all expectations. And I was already hyped up for it. They followed the book pretty well, you know what I mean, as far as characters go. Who was going to kind of not turn against him, but, turn his back on to T'Challa. And, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Here's that. Okay. And then, everybody just, the casting was just incredible. So, of course, you had, high caliber actors with, newbies and old cats, you know what I mean? Coogler did an excellent job directing. The cinematography was amazing. The first time I saw it was, at I'll call it a fresh IMAX. And then the other one, I don't know, either I was too close or it wasn't as crisp. And it was still like, holy crap, this is a great movie. You know what I mean? Cinematography-wise. And then also, seeing it with like friends and families, different circles and this and that, and like all the reactions of people of different walks of life are just like, this is the greatest thing I've seen, period. Like, Star Wars, cool, you know what I mean? I mean, this is just, people were just ecstatic about it. I mean, my news feed and my Twitter timeline are just, everything's just, they're still buzzing. It's still buzzing about this movie. People are watching it 3-4 times in one weekend.
Right. And that's what I've been reading. Like the IMAX CEO was like, I wish I had more seats because this is unlike anything we've seen. People are going to see it one day, then they're talking about seeing the next day and the day after that. I don't think this is one of those. I think it's like a Titanic film where people are going to have seen it 5-7 times before it's out of theaters and still feel like I need to see it again. Like, my sister-in-law has already seen it more times than me, and I didn't think that was possible, but she's seen it 4 times in 5 days. And it's not one of those things where people are like, oh, man, I've seen it one time. It's like, no, I want to see it again, and I want to see it one more time, and then another time after that, just for good measure.
You got the pop-up bars. You got all kinds of stuff going on. There's rumors of a sequel already. You know what I mean? They're like, nope, he's down. Actually, is that a rumor or is that true? He's down for another sequel, right?
I think Coogler definitely has a lot of interest, and he had some things that he wanted to do, like when he was working on the first one, he wanted to borrow a page from Christopher Priest's take on it, and he had Kraven the Hunter show up to fight Black Panther, and that was somebody that he actually wanted to throw in there, and they were like, well, not just yet, he's still tied up in that Spider-Man universe, but with that whole kind of collaboration with Sony, maybe now that's going to be a possibility, and that could be a fun villain for him, even if it's just like a little, half villain for the movie, like for the first half, like Claw. So I think that would be a lot of fun. And he's also mentioned interest in Luke Cage. And I think with this movie and how much money it's already making, I think this could be the film that bridges the gap between Netflix TV and Marvel movies. Because if Ryan Coogler wants Luke Cage, I bet you they're going to put Luke Cage in a Marvel movie.
And Storm, you know what I mean? Throw them all in there. Make the crew, you know what I mean? Put the crew in there. Good, right?
I don't want them to do Storm just yet because I think Storm is we need to establish Storm into the MCU proper before we link her so closely with Black Panther. And I think it'd be a disservice to throw her in there yet. I think for Black Panther 3, put Storm in there. And that way we can have Storm kind of front and center as one of the main X-Men, not the whack Halle Berry version, but like African goddess Storm, so we can make that more obvious connection with her and T'Challa. So I want to see that.
That's good.
And, yeah.
I was gonna have one last tidbit.
Okay, great. Go for it.
One last. It will impact. Wait, I think this will impact black cinema in general, or cinema with black leads. Let me say it like that too. Because I've seen another rumor about finally Equalizer 2 with Denzel Washington. I saw the first one, it was pretty good, but I don't think it got as much credit as it should have. Now 2, they bumped up the date to July. They aired the release date till July, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's an interesting side effect too. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's like Hollywood woke up and said, hey, so yeah, black people go see movies with black leads. Let's go watch it. Oh, white people do too. Oh, we should have black leads. Let's do this more. I think that's going to be another positive side effect of this movie.
Yeah. And with the Equalizer, that was the first film that both Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington signed on to do a sequel with, in all their careers and all their films they've done. And that had a budget of $55 million. It ended with $101 million. Again, profit. I think that's the big takeaway from this. Films with black leads make profits. And, we always want to say, oh, they just don't want to have black people in their movies. They want to see a return on the investment. So that's why after Blair Witch Project, you saw a lot of found footage films because they were cheap, easy to make, and it made a lot of money. And I think now there's no stereotype or no restrictions on if we want a black movie to make money, it's got to be a comedy. And I love Girls Trip. And it was amazing, but it was a comedy, and that making a lot of money wasn't that shocking to me. Get Out was a bigger success story because, hey, a black horror movie that's not the traditional kind of horror movie. It's no big slasher villain. It's a thoughtful kind of, you can take it on multiple levels kind of horror movie. And hey, people in black audiences came out to see it, and it was accessible to white audiences as well. And one of the big takeaways for me with Black Panther was, yeah, we came out in force. I think the stats I saw were 37% of the Black Panther audience was black, but 35% was white, Caucasian, whatever way you want to describe it. 18% was Latino, and 5% was Asian. So Black Panther was able to capture everybody. And I'm not sure if that's just because Marvel studio films have been so good, or that Black Panther just was one of those accessible to everybody. We're not going to make white people look like the bad guys. It's just open for everyone to come in and experience this movie. Jays, what did you think? We haven't talked to you about it yet, and I want to get you in first.
You have a legitimate reason for being that excited about watching this movie. It was great. I've seen it on IMAX and I really loved it. Then I asked somebody, how is it in 3D? So I watched it today in 3D, and I'm like, you know what? I think I owe it to myself to watch it in IMAX 3D the next time I can watch it. This movie is great. It's not overhyped in the least. It is it's not just, it's just for one audience. It's like, this is a really good comic book action movie. And it's like, and I think that's what's catching everybody. It's like, oh, it's not just a comic book movie. It's actually something like, oh, and then it's like, but the action's not like the most overpowering part of it. It's literally like, you have like the great actors in doing their roles, and it's like, oh wow, these guys are really bringing it. And then you have the villain who is I think without a doubt, he's the best villain in the Marvel MCU universe. It's like, without a doubt, he's the best villain. And the other thing is, the villain is actually so good. He does what none of the other villains in the Marvel universe do, is they actually get the hero to change his position. Like, usually it's just, oh, I see everybody's not as good as I thought. This is the actual first time the villain is 100% who he is. He actually makes the hero of the movie understand, like, hey, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. This is not going to work. Like, the world around me is going to collapse if I keep living in this nice secluded bubble. I can't do that. And that's why it's like, that's why Mace wants him. Killmonger is literally the best villain in the whole MCU. And like you guys were saying, this movie is great, and I highly recommend seeing it in every format possible. And you guys will not feel disappointed.
All right, so I have a small yet major bone to pick with your statement on Killmonger. So I think he's not necessarily a villain. Like, I think of villains. I think of Ultron. I think of Loki, who really want to do something that's all about them. Like, Loki wants to take over Asgard. He wants to rule because he wants to take care of it better than everybody else. But everything he does is all about Loki. Killmonger has this rage because of what happened to his father and the upbringing of, we need to do whatever it takes to make a better world for our people. So even though he's got this path of vengeance that he wants to take out everybody who wronged his family and was responsible for the cover-up and the conspiracy to lie about his heritage, ultimately what he wants to do is make a better world for people that look like him. So maybe for some people he's Killmonger isn't a true bad guy.
No, he's not. I mean, he wouldn't care about like killing he wouldn't have cared about killing everybody in there. He was just like, I'm the king, fall in line. But he's kind of, what makes him a villain is because he has, quote unquote, been radicalized. He's seen too much. He's like, I'm so fed up. I have this rage that I have to deal with, and the rage might consume the whole world. But I mean, in essence, we can actually make if everybody falls in line with us, it'll be a better world. It kind of makes him a villain. Just because we kind of agree with his point of view doesn't make him not a villain on that. I mean, we were on the ruling class. It's like, no, he's a villain. He's a horrible person. But because he's trying to really upend the whole society. That actually does make him kind of a villain.
I have to agree with Jason on that one because I mean, remember they were saying like some of our war dogs ain't down with this, but London and I forgot the other one said, "Yo, we're down."
London, China.
Yeah, like people were like, "Nah."
Like places that were trying to have a little bit of diversity that have been like, "Yeah, we seen this. Yeah, let's go."
Exactly, right. You know what I mean? And I don't think it was a coincidence they threw out those countries, right? But they, and then remember when he lifted up the old lady, like he just like burned it all. I'm like, that's pretty villainous. Killed Zuri, called him Uncle John, whatever his name was, Uncle James. You know what I mean? Killed him. That's pretty villainous. All those dots, those buttons on him. That was a lot of kills. Pretty villainous. That's a pathological pattern of villainy right there, right? You know
but
what I
I'm
mean?
curious though. So if there were those kids in Oakland, would he be considered a villain? Not knowing anything that he did to get to that point. All those underprivileged kids in Chicago, LA, wherever you want to look, if he took what he needed to take to power and made Wakanda the kingdom, the crown jewel of the world, and made life better for people like him, would they look at him like as a villain?
I think so. Once they kill like well, here's the thing. I think so. Once he starts, I mean, the pathology of what he was trying to do is literally like, you know what? We're gonna free these cats in the hood, and all these colonizers need to go. You know what I mean? That's literally the pathology that's next. You know what I mean? So you got Michelle Pfeiffer in the hood teaching kids. Guess what's gonna happen to her, right? So you know what I mean? What's gonna happen? Saving the Last Dance or whatever that joint was called. Homeboy had been done. She'd have been
Dangerous
done.
Minds.
You get what I'm saying? Dangerous. No,
he was doing Last Dance. Remember that was it.
Yeah.
The one with Julia Child. Yeah.
Yeah, that. So yeah, that mess. So yeah, I mean, think about that. Like, and then anybody that doesn't fall in line with him, what do you think is gonna happen? So he's trying to hit that dictatorship going on, man. You gotta watch that.
He would have been a jihad.
Yeah, exactly. Intentions are wonderful for Killmonger, right? But what the hell is paid with great intentions, right?
Uh-huh.
So, I don't know. I still call him a villain because he's a villain. But we can probably compromise and be like, he was a main antagonist, right?
No. Yeah. I would put him right at number 2, right behind Loki. But maybe that's because we only get one shot with Killmonger. And I think if I had one small gripe, is that Killmonger won't be around for future installments of Black Panther.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe he shows up like when T'Challa goes back into that realm of dead Black Panthers. Maybe he shows up. It challenges him again to do something that he hasn't. So maybe you're right. So I would like to see something like that. But I want to see Killmonger again.
But doesn't Loki's appearance in Thor 3 make him not a villain?
But he's had 3 other movies where he was kind of a bad guy, so he's done enough that I'm still putting him in.
He only had one movie. He was two movies he was a villain.
He tried to take over Earth. He tried to take over Earth with aliens. Come on. That
Killmonger if Killmonger had a bunch of aliens with him,
Loki did it.
He would have done it too.
Yeah, but Loki did it. Killmonger was in theory. Loki actually put it into action. But yeah, okay. So we'll all agree that Killmonger was great as an antagonist and as a villain. So we're good on that.
I live with that.
Yeah.
He might come back to life, man. We ain't found the Soul Stone, man. That's why I'm still like, yo, where's the Soul Stone?
You know what I kind of like was how we didn't see the Soul Stone in Black Panther, because I was thinking maybe that in credit we're going to see it, and that's what those kids were looking at, and it's like, uh-oh, trouble's about to happen. But I actually like it more because we know Wakanda is going to be a major destination spot of Avengers Infinity War. And I'm like, yo, they did such a great job establishing Wakanda in one movie that just the thought of seeing it again, seeing those characters again is like, this is like that Avengers sequel that Winter Soldier kind of was, where we had just like 3 Avengers kind of doing their thing. This one, we're going to have like a mini Black Panther sequel because all the Black Panther cast is going to be there in this movie, and they're going to just do straight up Wakanda warfare, and they just so happen to have the Avengers tagging along with them in this fight. I can't tell you how excited I am, even more so than I was about Infinity War, just because we're going to see those Black Panther characters one more time. Jace, how are you feeling about that?
Okay, here's, and I'm going to play devil's advocate on this. This is where it could actually be a problem, because think of how Justice League, and I'll say perception because I was not part of this ridiculousness, but perception was Justice League did a disservice to Wonder Woman because of how they used their characters from Themyscira. There is the possibility that Marvel could do the same thing for Black Panther, Wakanda, by actually using their characters not as awesome as they were used in Black Panther. They're just kind of, oh, here's some side characters.
Okay.
Like, you won't see his sister as much. I mean, the characters are really established in Black Panther. You just be like, oh, they might make a small cameo. And we're like, I don't really care about Tony Stark anymore. Like, good luck. Like, you can bring in Cap. Like, don't give me the blonde Black Widow. Just let us stay in Wakanda and have a couple returning Avengers here, and we'll be cool.
All right, so Kevin Feige is the reason that's not going to be the case. He's been the guy who's shepherding all these Marvel Studio films, and he's been the one that made sure everyone has been consistent. Like, the Ant-Man we saw in Civil War was the same one we saw in Ant-Man. And Iron Man was the exact same way he was in his solo movies as he's been in every other film. Civil War, the 2 Avenger films, I mean, they've always been consistent. It hasn't been like, oh gosh, who was writing Hulk in this film? He's not anything like the Hulk we've seen before. Or Falcon doesn't sound at all like Falcon normally should. So I think that consistency and having that real check and balance, and the fact that the Russo brothers were the ones that put Black Panther, incorporated him into Civil War, they already know how to handle him. And in terms of making him be a standout and making, just that tease from Civil War with those characters, like, oh, I want to see more of these guys. I don't think they're going to drop the ball. And with Wakanda looking like it's going to be the pivotal action sequence in Infinity War, I don't think they're going to drop the ball in terms of making that just as important and keeping that level of consistency that we saw in Black Panther. Gunnar, what do you think?
Oh, I don't mind seeing the whole characters. I think it's going to be consistent. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, that's the whole reason why we all have like chills when we see that entire that entire Avengers Infinity War trailer, right? Like, it's just like, whoa, hold on. We haven't even seen Black Panther yet. We see this cat in it. All right, cool. He looks like he's calling some shots. That's what's up. Then, that little in slow-mo sequence there with then the logo pops up. I mean, you're like, you're in for an Avengers movie along with, finally what everything is building up for, along with our newly found Black Panther characters that we are so in love with right now this weekend, right? So I don't have a problem seeing this, man. I can't wait to actually see how they do it and put them all together. I mean, are they going to do like the comic books where Black Panther is kind of like owning Tony Stark? Because, he's going to be the arrogant Tony Stark, and, T'Challa's going to be like, yeah, anyways.
The third world idea is now done. It's like, I literally am the leader of the most technologically advanced society. Like, shut up, Tony Stark. You know nothing.
Exactly.
Well, we have not seen Tony Stark in these trailers with the Wakanda Avengers force. Right. So I'm not sure, and we didn't see Spider-Man or Doctor Strange. I think they're going to be fighting Thanos while the Wakanda force fights Thanos' warriors. Now, I have nothing to back that on outside of what we've seen in the trailer. But that's what I'm kind of thinking is going to happen, and I think the Guardians and Thor are probably going to join that team fighting Thanos. But yeah, it's kind of like how with the Guardians, it's funny because before Black Panther, it was, we're going to have all the Avengers, we're going to have Doctor Strange, we're going to have the Guardians all coming together to fight Thanos. Now I'm like, we're going to have all those guys and Wakanda fighting against him. It's this excitement of seeing Okoye, Shuri, the Jabari tribe. It's like, yo, there's going to be so much to this movie that I'm like, wow. I know Infinity War is going to be a great movie, but I'm curious now if it's going to be a better movie than Black Panther. What do y'all think?
Hey, it's Avengers, man. I mean, Yes. I hate to say it, but yes. I don't know if we'll have the 225. What are we at? $235 million weekend. But
I think that could. I think it could. I think this is like the only film that could.
Let me stop. That's why I was like, let me stop. Actually, I'm like, because considering all the build-up, everything that happened, and now Black Panther, everybody's like, yo, heck, Black Panther most likely grabbed a few million more fans to say, hey, I'm about to watch Infinity War, see what they do with this. So, yeah.
I mean, some of these folks are going to check out. Some of these folks are going to check out Civil War on Netflix. Then they might check out Doctor Strange, and then be like, "No, I am ready for this. They're bringing we're going back to Wakanda in this Civil War. I mean, this Infinity War. Yeah, I'll do that."
All right, Javon.
Yeah,
you've been out on a power surge for a bit, but what do you think about Avengers Infinity War? Do you think that it's going to do even more because of this Black Panther excitement? Or you think people are already excited about Infinity War, or what?
No. Here's my take. The Black Panther thing is unique because of everything surrounding it. It's a different world. These are different characters than what we've been introduced to out of the Marvel Universe. For a lot of us, this is brand new. A lot of us had no idea that the Black Panther character even existed, right? You've seen how many movies with Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor. You've seen these characters for the better part of 10 years now. And with Hulk, Hulk had, 2 movies prior to Avengers? So we're very familiar with these characters. And to add even more malaise to it, I just can't imagine everybody's as keyed up about the new Avengers movie as they are about Black Panther, because, like I said, we're familiar with this story. It's running to the point of, okay, I just don't care anymore. Get it over with. Let this be the last one. People will still come out to see it, but it's not going to do Black Panther numbers. I don't think anything other than maybe Deadpool, because once again, that was a different. It's introducing yourself, or introducing the audience rather, to different story, different characters, and I think people are going to be pumped up to see if you like Josh Brolin, or you looked at the trailers, you looked at the posters, you see Cable, you're like, oh man, you guy looks like a badass. I want to see what that's about. A poster or a trailer with more Hulk, more Iron Man, more Captain America, more Thor. It's like, all right, I've seen this already. And I've seen this now 3 times.
I love your point of view because you're so way off base from where I'm coming from. I think everybody would be super hyped. And I love that you were like, I'm tired of these movies. Because I'm like, man, Black Panther just made all this super money. And, you know, some of those people were excited from seeing him in Civil War. So some of those people were already that group of people who were excited about these Marvel films, seeing that they keep retaining their level of consistency. I'm sure that it was like that snowball thing. People who saw Thor Ragnarok were like, man, okay, Black Panther, what's going on with that? I think this latest swing of Marvel films may be their best 3 yet. So we've had Ragnarok, which was great. We had Black Panther, which was epic, a masterpiece, whatever adjective you want to use for it. In Infinity War, I think this is going to be, we're going to look back and see that this was the apex of the Marvel cinematic universe. These are going to be the 3 films that we look back on and say, man, this was when this universe was at its absolute best. Now, whatever happens after is going to be whatever, but this is going to be the point, the high point where no other trilogy, no 3 films are going to be able to touch it. All right, Jace, what do you think?
I'd say you're talking the next 4 movies, because it's Civil War, Black Panther, the two Avengers. Like, I'm actually wondering how that's going to translate for like Wasp and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, are they just going to get kind of like, are they going to look like they're really disappointing numbers for like doing 120 million? And then they're like, oh, guess everybody's tired of Avengers. When it's like, no, that's a whole lot of money. But it's just, because one, like you said, one was a built up, pent up, like, yes, I need to see this versus, oh, that's a fun movie I can watch in the summertime. That's like, I mean, it'll make some good summer blockbuster money, but it's not going to be just this awesomeness that is Black Panther and the awesomeness that is going to be Infinity Wars. So I don't think it's going to work. Anyone's going to get tired of them, but I think your built-in audience is there. You're going to bring in a couple extra million probably people to come with it, but I don't think you're getting to that fatigue point at all. We're not like Star Wars.
Yeah,
movies we talked about.
I just want to say one thing real quick. I'm sorry, Jace. Like you just said, Black Panther is now a phenomenon. I think it's safe to say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every kid by white kids, Spanish kids, Asian kids, Indian kids by October are going to want their Black Panther costume, right? You're not going to have that with Infinity War. You're still going to have your built-in audience. I just don't see it doing these kind of numbers. I don't see it being as big as what Black Panther is. I really don't see any movie coming out this year, maybe the next 2, 3, maybe, that is going to be as big as this. I just don't see that.
I don't think in 3 years. It's like,
what about Captain Marvel?
So Marvel Studios hasn't had his Wonder Woman moment yet. When we saw Warner Brothers was a little bit timid with their promotion for Wonder Woman, it was kind of like, well, we've got this movie with Wonder Woman. We know you guys don't really like our movies, but here's Wonder Woman, and everybody knows her. And Gal Gadot's, everybody seems to like her. Maybe you guys would be interested in the movie. When you saw what Marvel did with Black Panther, it was like, no, here's Black Panther. You better go see this movie. It's hype. It's good. You're going to want to see it. It's going to be a moment. It's defining. It's a game changer. Everybody should go see Black Panther. You couldn't get away from Black Panther, whether you were on the bus, whether you were watching TV, or you were picking up a comic book, whether you were just walking in the mall. You saw Black Panther. Warner Brothers didn't do that with Wonder Woman. But Marvel is absolutely going to do the same approach that they took with Black Panther for Captain Marvel. They're going to be like, oh, you don't know Captain Marvel? She's this bad tail superhero, and she's been in outer space, and she may be the most powerful Avenger of them all. Hey, here's Captain Marvel. You know what she looks like? Yeah, this is Captain Marvel. You're going to get that same thing. So, Gunnar, what do you think about the Captain Marvel effect with the
Exactly. I was literally about to be like, look, they had, like, just like you just said, they have but did a, advertisement for Wonder Woman. It was already hyped up. Everybody was like, yo, Wonder Woman's coming out. We're going to watch this. Gal Gadot, cool, done. Man, that movie did crazy numbers for DC to the point where they probably got more people to watch Justice League than who were going to watch Justice League in the first place, right? And then they hyped up the heck out of Justice League. So, and considering Marvel has a better marketing machine, let's just be clear about that. I'm pretty sure Captain Marvel and how they're going to fit her in. Man, listen, there's so many stories you can do with Captain Marvel with the Avengers. It's like crazy. So, next couple years, you're going to see this kind of hype again with that one because women are going to come out in droves. Like, I'm talking a million women march, vagina-looking hats coming through to see the movie. I'm telling you, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. So, Avengers, Infinity Wars, I don't see them having a drop, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a drop from Black Panther. However, Jason, you were absolutely correct. Ant-Man and Wasp are in like this weird period of time where it's like, ooh, they're gonna see a clear drop on that one. I already predict that one. But then they'll redeem themselves with Captain Marvel big time.
Y'all think so?
Yeah.
I think with Captain Marvel, it may end up like, and let me be the unpopular opinion guy. This may end up being like Elektra, dude.
No.
Nah.
No chance. So
we're saying that now. Who knows?
I know you're the box office girl.
People may not respond.
Let me tell you why. So one of the smart factors that Marvel is kind of already starting to make sure that people are getting that early awareness on is they cast DeWanda Wise, and she's the star of the Netflix She's Gotta Have It. And they haven't announced her role, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Monica Rambeau, who was another Captain Marvel in the Marvel Comics universe. The important thing about her, she's the one female Black Avenger. And if they're introducing her in Captain Marvel, you can better believe that all of the Black female nerds who went out to Black Panther to see that.
You don't even need to say no more. I didn't even know that. I thought they were going to cast somebody like, I don't know, what's her name? Jennifer Hathaway or whatever her name is. Anne Hathaway. You didn't say there was going to be a sister. Never mind. I reneged that statement. Okay. I reneged that statement totally.
Yeah, because I think that's going to have a lot of interest. And that Kevin Feige mentioned her by name indicates to me that she's going to have a big role. And I imagine that she's going to be a big player going forward in the MCU. Because all those original guys, the Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, their contracts are up after Avengers 4 or only have 1 or 2 more films left. And we've got to introduce this new generation. And they saw how well it worked with Civil War with Black Panther. We introduced the character we want to spotlight in the solo film later. We put him in this group film and let him take off. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Captain Marvel show up in this first chapter in Infinity War before her solo film. And then when her solo film comes out, people are gonna be like, "Oh, I want to see this." And then you introduce Monica Rambeau. Then when we see her later, it's like, "Oh, I want to see her movie too." So I think they've got the swarm.
Okay, so they're gonna do because I know they already got Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, right? Yeah. But I didn't even know DeWanda. DeWanda Wise is a Maryland native, by the way. Woo-hoo. But I mean, I had no idea. Okay, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. When they were talking about the version of how they're going to do the solo version for Captain Marvel's movie, like they said, it was like going to be based in the past. Like, I'm wondering if that will be like how everyone talks about anytime there's some time jumping. It's like, oh, it's complicated. Or if it could flow as seamlessly as they did for Wonder Woman, like, hey, here's this story that was 40 years, like 50, 70 years ago. Like, that's it. There's no time jumping. This is a story, and then you'll come back. Like, if they do it perfectly, like that, it'll keep everybody's attention. But if they do it like kind of some heroes time jumping stuff, that'll sink the movie. Like, word of mouth, like, it's too complicated to follow. So it might not have that built in on. The word of mouth might kill that if they do something like that.
All right, so here's another theory I got for you right now. So this movie's set in the 90s. Now, since y'all have seen Black Panther, you already know in 1992 we see T'Chaka, the Black Panther. I'm wondering if maybe T'Chaka shows back up as the 90s Black Panther and works alongside Carol Danvers as she first becomes Captain Marvel. We already know Samuel Jackson's going to be in there, so Nick Fury's going to show up. And with Monica Rambeau likely in the movie as well, Marvel may be going, you know who hasn't had a lot of movies where their faces have been represented? Female superheroes, women, and black people. So if they start packing a lot more we already know Samuel Jackson and DeWanda Wise are there, so that's 2.
Right.
But if they tap into this popularity of Black Panther and show old school 90s version of Black Panther in there, then all those people who love Black Panther will be a lot more interested and invested in seeing Captain Marvel if they weren't already. And then they can just pack in this Captain Marvel, Black Panther, establish that bond and relationship. So when she comes into the present day and she sees another Black Panther, it's like, oh, I know you. I work with, oh, that's not you. Okay, that's your daddy. Great. Okay. And then Captain Marvel and Black Panther are the 2 leaders of the new generation Avengers, like Captain America and Iron Man. What do you think?
I thought I read a rumor that there was going to be somebody from Black Panther in Captain Marvel, so that would go with your theory. I don't know who it is, obviously, but hey, that would go with your theory, and that works for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe Sterling K. Brown comes in or something. Who knows? To be like, yeah,
it would work too.
I don't know. Who knows?
I love that there's so many possibilities with the MCU, and so far you can fan theory all you want, and they always manage to if not meet your expectations, deliver in a different way, and it's like, hey, that works too. Like, I don't feel like they've dropped the ball with something where it's like, oh gosh, you guys really screwed that one up. The only time is probably killing Quicksilver, spoiler. But
I know.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Iron Man 3 was terrible.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I take that back. That was one blemish, but I'll give them 1 strike in 18 films, and I'll still give them a high mark. They're still in the high 90s for me. Okay.
They need to do War Machine a little better, man. I mean, speaking of Iron Man 3, come on, that was they made him like he couldn't even get the suit and all that. Anyway,
man, Rhodey was way better than Iron Man in that movie to me.
I mean, both of them. The whole movie was kind of whack, but they keep doing Rhodey dirt, man. And then now he got shot down in Civil War, and he had to figure out how to walk again on this mess. I mean, we see him in the preview for or the trailer for Infinity Wars, but still, man, I hope they do him better, man, because they've been doing him dirt. They've been doing him dirt, man.
Well, you know, I'm thinking when they transition to this new team of Avengers, they've got to keep some of the old guard around. I don't know what Don Cheadle's contract is, so maybe he's another one that stays on to help usher in this new team, whether as War Machine or as like the technical advisor for the squad. I bet he will have some sort of connection with Carol Danvers too. So seeing as how they're both in the Air Force, so, you know, and then maybe play off the comic book where they actually had a relationship. Lots of possibilities with that. So I know.
Well, you know, House of Lies is gone, so hopefully not Cheeto got a contract these days.
Yeah. So
I was going to say he would in theory have some probably been in the Air Force in the 90s, so that's not out of the question either.
Yeah. That's all the Black Panther stuff, because I'm sure we'll have much more to talk about next week as they continue to set records. It's already the number 25 highest grossing comic book movie domestically of all time. I'm pretty sure by 2 weeks from now it's going to be in that top 5. So yeah, lots of excitement with that. But let's move on here. So I have been super addicted to the Olympics. I've been watching every day in the afternoon and the night till 1 o'clock is ridiculous. I'm all in with Olympic fever, and I'm loving that the U.S. is not winning everything. So the commentators actually have to focus on the stories as opposed to USA Rocks. We're so awesome. Who else is watching the Olympics, and have you caught up and stayed into it as much as I have? Jace, how about you?
And if all you have to say is they're jumping and their skis, I'm in. I've anything the Big Air. I was watching Big Air, I think, last night. Slalom. I mean, it's just anything with jumping and snowboarding. I've been all in. I haven't. When it comes to the ice dancing and stuff, I kind of tone out and go to something else. But most of it, I'm big. Like, hey, like give me the biathlon, skiing and shooting. It's a fun time. So it has been fun. And hey, what are this? I'm still trying to figure out why the NBC lead commentator is a British woman when we're supposed to be yay pro-America. But besides that, it's actually been a source of entertainment for me. And some of the guys when they're doing the stories is always fun. So this is always the good 2 weeks of easy entertainment that just actually got. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I'm actually surprised the Olympics didn't impact Black Panther's bottom line, because like I know we said for. Gosh, was it Age of Ultron? Like how that got ate up a lot by the Pacquiao versus Mayweather fight. The Olympics, it looked like the Winter Olympics had no bearing on Black Panther. That's another little side fact. But
people can go to the Olympics. I mean, they can go to the theater around whatever Olympic show or event they want to watch. They can DVR it or whatever. The fight was a watch it right this moment, or people are going to ruin it for you, and you want to be in this exact moment watching this fight, and it's the biggest fight of the century. With the Olympics, I can watch it later. I mean, the tape delay with everything else anyway. I'll go to the early screening of Black Panther. But yeah, no danger. And I think Black Panther was much more of a you need to be a part of this event moment than the Olympics have been. Gunnar, you been watching, man?
Sorry, I had to wake up there while you were talking about the Winter Olympics. Freaking bored. I hate that mess. Every year. I mean, I like the opening ceremony because it's always like super cool and they do crazy stuff and it's like very colorful. But then when you get down to everything else, everything is so like, it's just boring to me, man. I mean, I need martial arts. I need my track. I need stuff. I need real Olympics, man.
So you're Summer Olympics.
You know what? Slalom, cool.
I don't even know what words you're saying right now. I literally do not know. I'm like, the what now? I did like that shoot. I remember one year, I think when I was like a kid, I watched like the point and shoot joint and you ski and shoot. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a buyout.
I'd love to do that. And then like I ended up doing that like on the range for real, like paintballing in warm weather. Like that's the same thing to me. So I'm like, cool. Other than that, I'm not in jumping, the ski jump.
You're not feeling the cross country all day?
Listen, if I'm hoping that you will fall and or break something, I probably shouldn't watch the sport. Like, that's just evil. I don't want to put that karma out there, man. So I'm good.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there's always that risk. And with the speed skating, these dudes always wipe out like they're NASCAR. And there have been so many slalom runs in the big air where these dudes have been wiping out. It's been crazy because it's like, well, there's always that slight chance that something could happen. And when it does happen, it's like, whoa, man, look at that. So I like seeing that sense of the risk and then them pulling it off, because I know if I was out there, I would be tumbling over in a long cast trying to move after trying anything that they do. So it's incredible watching them.
We wouldn't even let you out there. We wouldn't let you out there.
Yeah.
We'd be like, that's crazy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
A friend of ours was saying that, the pipes are so much taller now than they were when like snowboarding and the half pipe thing was like started. But I'm like, that speaks to something. Like, they added X Games. I think we talked about this, offline. We all did, I think. That they added the X Games type stuff to the Winter Olympics. And I'm like, yeah, they needed something because the stuff was boring. Like, you know what I mean? So even that now, I'm kind of like.
All right, Javon, what are you thinking, man?
I'm all gun. No, man, Jason, you taught me something because I've been calling it ski gun. I did not know it was called the biathlon. I do like that. And I watch curling because it's sweeping and you get medals for it. Other than that, I watch the Summer Olympics because the Summer Olympics is pretty cool, man. Oh, well, no. So when I did watch the super speed skaters.
Yeah.
They got the one sister, that was a great story. She was like a rollerblade or inline skating legend who's really only been on the ice for like 15 days or something like that. And she gets to go to the Olympics. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the brother that got mad because they wouldn't let him carry the torch out, which I was like, dude, get over yourself. I dig it as Black History Month, but Black Panther's out. Come on, stop. You maybe next year when they do the Winter Olympics.
Every 4 years. You guys really don't know anything.
It's still every 4 years.
He's bringing the flag out. There's only one dude that raised the torch. Good grief.
Hey, World Games are every 2 years, right?
Yeah, all right. They do the Summer Olympics like every summer, don't they? Like every other summer, right? Every 3.5? Okay. It's every 4. I know it's every 4. I don't care whether it's Nagano. You know what's Winter Olympics I was really into? When Tanya Harding sent their goons to go bash, what's her name's kneecap open.
Why?
That's when I was
Winter Olympics.
Wait a minute.
I was like, ooh, I'm going to watch this.
This is drama. I'm going to watch that.
The funny thing is now we're in the rehabilitate Tanya Harding era. Like, I remember when that story came out, it was like she was the biggest villain in Olympic history. Now it's like I am Tanya. Let's rehabilitate Tanya Harding. It's like, man, you live long enough. You can actually if you're a villain, you can actually get rehabilitated. Like if you're a good guy, you will be torn down. But you're a villain. Don't worry, we'll soften you up soon enough.
Jason, there, O.J. Simpson sympathist now. So yeah, you're right.
Let's move on with that one. I know we have our dumb TV celebrity of the week deal, but I kind of feel like I need to just lead off. And I'm trying to see if you guys can come up with a better one that can top my choice with the one and only Fergie. What was she doing? I mean, dude, she tried to pull a Jessica Rabbit doing the national anthem. And, I mean, they couldn't pan to one player who was taking her seriously by the end of it. And it was so bad that Fergie had to actually come out and apologize. She said, I've always been honored and proud to perform the national anthem. And last night, I wanted to try something special for the NBA. I'm a risk taker artistically, but clearly this rendition didn't strike the intended tone. I love this country and honestly tried my best.
Didn't strike the intended tone or key.
Hey,
what it was about to deport her.
I was like, what is this? I didn't even watch the finals, man. I've been reading nothing but Black Panther, dealing with,
Oh no, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to go on Twitter and hear that.
I saw it. Oh no, I saw that part. I was like, oh good God.
Yeah. Home. Oh yeah. Of the break. Oh yeah. Hyatt.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay.
Zippity boop bop pow.
My favorite part was her look of satisfaction after she finished, like, yes, I just did that. And she was all set to look at her phone and saw Fergie trending, like, oh, I can't wait to see how great people thought I was. And it's like, oh. My favorite is, like, if people thought taking a knee was offensive, what did they think of Fergie? I love those.
That was great.
All the Kaepernick knees. Yo, I saw a meme that Colin Kaepernick probably wanted to stand up and go stop disrespecting the flag. I was like, yo, that's just cool enough.
I appreciate risk takers, but sometimes you got to get like feedback from one of your friends. But like, should I do this in front of? No, do not do that. No, just keep that close to the vest.
Marvin Gaye in the 83 or 84 All-Star Game moment where I'm going to revolutionize how the anthem is sung, and you came out there and you did that. It sounded like somebody throwing cats around by their tail, man. That was terrible. And she should be ashamed of herself.
Wow.
I'm not trying to be so, no, for real. She should be ashamed. You can't sing.
The truth like that.
Dude, look, you can't sing. We know it. We just entertained you because of the group and, you know, your song, the Black Eyed Peas. Come on, that's good. It's not. Nobody's expecting y'all to come out there 5-part harmony, and nobody's expecting Fergie to blow them away vocally. So she should have just not even tried it. If you want me to come out here and pantomime, how come every time I come around that anthem, say America? She should have did that. Do the London Bridge version. It would have been terrible, but it wouldn't have been that. That was terrible.
London Bridge anthem actually would have been hilarious.
The London Bridge remix. So basically, we're saying she needs to go back into witness protection, aka the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, she should try doing that stuff with Christmas albums. Leave that there. Leave that kind of stuff. Do that.
Oh yeah.
You can do that Nat King Cole wannabe stuff with Christmas albums. Do that.
Wow.
Okay, so that was my choice. Fellas, did you have any other nominees?
I ain't watched the TV, man. I've been on this Black Panther house, man.
Me too.
But I will still say, if I'm recalling correctly, William still can carry over another week of how stupid he is on air. I hate that character. I need him to die. He should have died on the island last season.
Goodness.
He is the dumbest character ever.
Beautiful.
Javon, you got any nominations, man?
Yeah.
I got two.
Lovely. Let's hear 'em.
One is the Fox News Lady Hamface.
Laura, let's not use her last name. Give her any more.
Yeah, Laura Hamface, whatever. Laura Bacon Chops. That whole tired narrative about athletes shouldn't comment about sports or shouldn't comment about anything but sports. Look, they got an opinion just like you got an opinion. Just the same way she has an opinion about whatever it is she has an opinion on outside of politics in her arena. It's the same for anyone else in the world. I don't have to just stick to managing federal program budgets because that's what I do for a living. I live in the world. I have an opinion. And the same thing goes for LeBron James or any athlete that opines on any subject. They're a member of the society. They have an opinion too, and we shouldn't try to cheapen them because we don't like the way they talk or we don't like the subject matter that they talk on. It's life. Get over yourself. Second, I noticed that during the Olympics, what we have watched, the pronunciation that we're using for the whole city is Pyeongchang, and it's an Americanized pronunciation of Pyeongchang. That's how it should be said. Now, I'm not nitpicking that, but out of respect for the host, maybe we should be saying Pyeongchang during our broadcast.
I'm down with that. You know why? Okay. We should put in effort to say the proper names of other countries and other things, other people's names, for goodness sake. Yeah. If you can pronounce Daenerys Stormborn after that spelling, then you should be able to pronounce Pyeongchang. know what I mean?
If you say the British Sean Ferguson, you can say Pyeong Chang.
I'm not even going to limit it to white Americans, man. I'm not going to limit it to white Americans. We all do. All
it's
Americans.
all of us. It's all of us.
We ain't going. We don't want to pronounce your name. It's too hard.
That's too hard. We're just gonna call you something that should be on a Thai menu. Pyeong Chang. No, it's Pyeong Chang. Say it right.
Hey, remember Nikki Haley's name is, we call her Nikki Haley because she chooses not to tell us her real name, which we should be forced to say, hey, what's your real name? Like Bobby Jindal is not Bobby Jindal. It's, what is your name? I need to learn it. It is your name.
Rajif Shana.
Nimarita Haley or whatever, actually I forgot her maiden name, but she's married or whatever. Nimarita needs to be called Nimarita, but she wants to be Nikki. I mean, let her be Nikki, I guess. I don't know. But, as much as I want to do the mama called him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. I guess that's what she wants to be called, but, we can talk about colonialism another time. I need to do that on another podcast. But
for another podcast.
I think that's everything we got on this one. I can't wait to see what goes down with Black Panther next week with this box office tally. I can't wait to see what kind of crazy celebrity stuff we get next week. And yeah, I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say about everything that's going down. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed. I don't know about you, but I kind of like Ski Gun. Maybe they can make that the new name for the biathlon for the mainstream folks who have no idea about these events. Let me know what you think of some Olympic events that should be renamed. You can hit me up on Twitter and let me know. So, I mentioned a giveaway. I'm doing one for folks in the DMV. That's District, Maryland, and Virginia. For Bruce Willis's latest film, Death Wish, the remake of the Charles Bronson series. And maybe if this one takes off, it'll be a franchise too. You can check out that giveaway. I'm going to post it on Friday afternoon, so be on the lookout for that. Special shout out to Mary O'Grady, who listens to Lyle's Movie Files on SoundCloud. You can listen to us there. You can listen to us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, etc. So if you're out there and you're liking the show, I really appreciate it. Let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. Post a comment on the site. I'm down for anything positive you want to say about this site. And let us know what you want to talk about, because we're always searching for new topics in addition to the normal news that goes on during the course of the week. So if you got something you want to hear us talk about and break down, let us know. And so that's everything for me on this episode. I hope you've had a good one, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.